over if possible, otherwise it ain't going to come out. So everyone else seems to have theirs around here somewhere, but it doesn't. I'd rather have it further back this way so the air intake, the whole thing comes straight off like that, because it's going to be easier demounting it. Yeah, I want it really probably about there. So if I have the, yeah, that would be quite nice. Give me a little bit of room to get a bit of pipe on there. Doesn't need anything here anyway. So I reckon I have the exhaust right where that is there. And don't draw through that. Just have it going about there. That little hole there is where I've just cut a stud off, obsolete stud that's underneath there. But my edge of my hole for my turret's going to cut along that hole as well. So, and that's the grommet hole pulled off. And the plate is just a few 8mm bolts, and then that there is one of these. That's the only awkward thing about getting it off, is these. I don't know who invented these and decided to put it where you can't get your fingers, but with a screwdriver and a bit of pressure it does pop off alright. And there's 5 of them holding the under tray on, which is, this is the under tray. Don't get confused like I did and thought it was part of the heat shield. There's just a heat shield on it as well. And also don't be surprised if yours is broken, because that's quite common. This isn't too bad. I can get some contact glue on that and salvage it. And then the hole underneath, this bit of flooring is actually already cut out. I haven't cut this out, so I'm going to pop the plate in and then make this look nice around it. So yeah, just tuck that underneath. I've just tucked it under my carpet at the moment. Yeah, there's an obsolete stud here, which is, that stud went there. I've pulled mine as far over this way as possible because I don't want, obviously, leaving a gap. If my hole was over here, I'd have to try and fill this in. So it's going to go there, and that'll be going this way. So that's your fuel line. This will be your air intake and your exhaust. Even though on my instructions here it says exhaust. So yeah, apparently mine's not got an air intake, but I'm pretty sure the air intake is by the fuel line, because I can't imagine they would put a hot exhaust next to a fuel line input. So yeah, that's the plan. Just taking your seat out, all it is 4 bolts and 2 clips. This here bolts up here. I'm probably going to do away with this and just tidy the plugs up underneath here out the way. I don't really see the point in it. I've only got 2 plugs in it. I have got this, which you lot probably haven't got, because I have lighting underneath my sidebars. So yeah, going alright so far. So I'm going to get this cut out, and yeah, hopefully this thing I've bought is going to cut through it not too bad, but maybe a bit of WD-40 to keep it lubricated, which will make the van smell lovely for a while. Through a lot better than I ever anticipated that would ever go through. So that would took me about 30 seconds, 40 minutes maybe max. Just use a little bit of WD-40 just to, but yeah, definitely buy a new one, because I don't think my old one would have gone through that quick. Let's test that, see what we think. That'll be alright. I might just chop a little bit of that out there, just modify that off a little bit. But yeah, once I've got this sort of screwed in place, I'll whip it back out, and then I'll get all that treated with some hammerite, silver hammerite. Right, hole is done. Like I say, you guys probably ain't got to deal with this, but I've got a cable down there somewhere. It's got to come up here. It's already got a grommet on it, so I've just cut a little slit in and whack the grommet in there, and it's going to come out underneath here, and it's going to join on there, and that's for my lights underneath the van. So I'm going to drill holes in the corner here and here. So here they'll bolt pretty flat, so I don't think we have to do a lot. Here it's a bit lower, so I want it to actually sit up a little bit, so it's going to be hard against here and sit up here, and I've got enough tolerance in the actual turret to do that, because when you pop them in, I can't really move these cables. They come up from here. I've got this cable here. I'm going to have obviously the other cable under here, so this is going to be raised off the floor just a little bit, just to keep these off the cables. When you drill these holes, just be very careful that you make sure these cables are out of the way. There's nothing under the rubber, because I've got a cable that runs along here, which I've pulled now down here. It sort of comes along now and does this, and then comes out here. I've just done a little slit in the rubber just to make it look neat. So I'm going to drill these holes. I'm going to put it up with a nut on, so it'll then underneath here, so it'll sit down on the nut, and then pop the other nut on the top, and then that'll give me enough room in here where these aren't chafing. I might put some tape on there, or a bit of rubber if I feel like it needs it, but we'll see. Get a little bit of edging or something on there just to stop it. I have actually rounded all these edges off as well, because they're quite sharp, and I think, how many times do you lose a pencil or something rolls under here and you're going to stick your hand in, and I don't want to be catching my hand or the kids catching their fingers on sharp metal. So I'll just soften the ends. These lines are just where the diesel heater sits. I just want to, if I had to cut anything else out, I didn't want to make sure I go past that point. Perfect. Right, let's get it done. Right, I've just filed all these edges down, because once this turret goes in, you're going to have to go underneath and get some adhesive, sticker flex, Mansory glue from Armstrong to seal underneath here. And obviously it's not going to be nice when you start rubbing your finger around it and there's jagged metal. So yeah, take a bit of time just to get rid of those jagged edges. Now, something I don't see a lot of people doing on a lot of these videos, and I do appreciate all people doing the videos, because I wouldn't know how to do this without them. But get some multi-solve and clean the top, but clean the bottom here, because there's loads of road grease and dirt underneath here, and if you don't clean it, it's the sticker flex isn't going to stick to a bit of grime. So yeah, just spray it on the cloth, clean the edges, give it a really good clean, and it's ready to go for a bit of silver hammerite, because I've got a silver van. So I'm going to whack a bit of this around there. So that's him all touched up, cleaned and hammerited, and oh no, let's get some of that off there. Multi-solve sorts the job out. Straight off. Definitely recommend that stuff. Oh, apart from when you put it back on again. Good as new. Not sure you ain't got any more silver paint anywhere, but yeah. And just under there, he's all touched up where I've drilled through as well. I'm not going to be putting a bolt over in this corner, because one, that bracket's there, two, it's going to come out around about here, and it's a bit pointless because the bodyworks, these are on flats, this bodywork sort of goes right up in a tilt there, so it's just not going to hold anything. It's not going to be able to be watertight. I'd have to stick a load of Mansory glue around it. So yeah, all rock and roll. Just need to let that dry for a little bit, and then I can start bolting up the turret. So this goes in that way. So obviously here I want these cables not to catch underneath here, so I've just done a bolt, another bolt, and then obviously that'll go through the bodywork, and then I'll bolt the nut and washer and locking washer underneath, and that'll stop the plate dropping down and chafing on all these cables. I don't know everyone else has got all these cables in the same place. Mine's a 2019 T6, so yeah, let me know your thoughts. So that's a fuel line that comes with diesel heater, and there's no rubber extension. This is the fuel line I bought separately because I needed the dip pipe for the diesel tank, and that one comes with the rubber, which I'm feel a bit more confident of having that in amongst the gubbins and the exhaust down there than having this pushed on. This is really soft as well, so I think we'll bin that and we'll use this stuff, which is a lot more harder. I think it would take a higher temperature as well. That's going to work. So let's bolt this on. 2, 3, 4. Is it called locking washers? No. Let's just make sure the rubber's on there. It's all down nice and flat. So that's the air intake, fuel line and the exhaust all in. It's better to do this above the van because you can just slide it all through the hole. You're not struggling getting all these Jubilee clips on. Right, this is all in. So I've got my inlet, fuel inlet coming around here. I've just cable tied it there, slid a bit of rubber hose over because it does touch the chassis arm there, and it comes around with the pump cable attached. I've actually shortened the pump cable. Well, tell a lie, I did shorten it, but I wanted it to go through that hole there and the connector was too big, so I just chopped it off, reconnected it, and then the pump comes along. Let's zoom out. And then I've put my fuel filter here at the moment, mainly because whip out a couple of bolts and the under tray just pulls down a little bit and you can just reach in and inspect it or clean it. Then if I do, then what I've done is I've gone over the top of my heat shield and put some heat resistant rubber in again, just because I can't clip it underneath there because all the heat shield in. I don't want to be taking the exhaust off, and it just comes down over there at the moment, and that rubber hose just runs along the top just to protect it in case it chafes or moves around. So I'm just going to tuck that up out of the way for the time being until I can get around to removing the fuel tank. And then my exhaust comes down. I've bolted a bracket on the chassis there, clipped it, and then it comes around, and I've actually just bolted it, just that bolt there, through the heat shield for now. I need a bit more of this pipe because what I want to do is then just take it down along here and just point it down to the ground. And then my air filter, I've just chucked a couple of cable ties through those two holes there, and then cable tied him tight, and he wibbles around a little bit, but that's fine, it's not rubbing on anything, it's not going to move too much. And you want this pointing towards the back of the vehicle, and also this pointing at the back of the vehicle. One, in case any moisture wants to go in, unless you're going reverse 80 mile an hour, it ain't going to go in that way. And with this, obviously you don't want any moisture going up the exhaust. There is a little weep hole just at the bottom, so you want to make sure that you've got the bracket, the exhaust that way round. It doesn't matter, there's no in and out on these, you can have it either way, but there is a bolt hole at the top and then a weep hole at the bottom. And then I've just wrapped it in some heat resistant. Hopefully it might muffle the sound down a little bit, and also just to protect anything up here, cables. Obviously there's some plastic that runs along here, so I just don't want it to be touching the plastic. Cable tie these up to the chair, so they'll sit up underneath the chair with these. That's the live and ground. And I'll put the fuse off because I'm going to have a fuse board over there, so all this will be fused over there before it runs through the body. So any problems, it will burn the fuse out before it blows me van up.